Yo, what's good, you guys? It's another day, another classic TCap reaction for you. And today, this creep's excuse as for why he is in the house talking to Chris Hansen has to be one of the creepiest excuses I've seen. This guy acts like he was supposed to be here to tutor the decoy. And well, as we all know, that could not be further from the truth. So make sure you watch until the very end of this one, because it gets quite insane. Without any further ado, though, let's get right on into it, shall we?
And this next man's excuse for showing up at our house in Long Beach, California also ranks way up there, because he tells us he's come for educational reasons.
So yeah, this guy's here for, quote, educational purposes. I don't know how that excuse is supposed to stand up as soon as he's face-to-face with Chris Hansen here and they actually have access to the chat logs, because we're gonna start off with that, and it's pretty clear what this guy is here to do. As with all these other dudes, they're not very good at being subtle online. You'd think for somebody, you know, trying to commit such a terrible crime, they would be trying to be a little bit more under the radar, but no, this dude, much like all the other creeps on this show, just went straight to it in those chat logs, so let's read a couple of those so far before we get into it, because they are hilarious.
Our encounter begins online when 29-year-old college student Farzad Kalantari thinks he's been chatting with a girl. Sure doesn't sound like he's talking about schoolwork.
So yeah, this dude is, I believe, here in America, overseas, because he's here for college, getting an education, and pretty much as soon as his decoy chat starts, you could tell what this dude is ready to do. The decoy asks, "What do you want to do when we meet?" And he, of course, replies with talk, but then the next message mentions the exact thing he's actually in this chat for. We all know what it is. This dude's looking to hook up and being incredibly forward about it. In fact, the next message we have here, he literally says, "Do you have any condom?" Which is a hilarious misspelling of the word balloons, to which the decoy says no, sadly, didn't have any balloons on them, and he replies, "I must go shopping." I don't know if bro's caps lock was broken at this time of recording or anything, but he's very excited, all right? He's speaking in all caps, and he's about to go hit the grocery store so he can get some of these balloons before he heads over. But enough of the chat logs, let's get into the real meat and potatoes of this one, baby. It's time for this guy to show up to the house.
Now he's in the undercover house, introducing himself to the decoy.
Nice to meet you. Hi.
And we have this dude immediately going for a handshake, which is actually kind of creepy. As we all know, the decoy cannot physically touch these guys, because as soon as they make physical contact, that is a big, big risk for the show. This guy could go in and try to grab the person as soon as Chris Hansen or anybody else steps in. It's just something they want to avoid. So let me run that back. I want to see how this decoy reacts to this.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. How are you? Good. Please have a seat right over there.
Sorry for the audio. I think Chris's mic was messed up here, but holy crap, that was some really, really aggressive behavior from the creep there already. Went in for the handshake, and as creepy as it is, he like locked her hand into his and tried to pull her in order to give her a little smooch. Luckily, Chris Hansen was right around the corner, and this was one of those times where he can't really come out with a good quip or a little jab at the guy. You know, usually Chris tries to come up with something, a little saying to do as he's revealing himself to these dudes, but no, they just had to get right into it, because that was very quickly turning into a bad situation. Shout out to the decoy for keeping her composure, though.
How old is the girl you were coming to see?
It's 14.
14?
Yeah.
That's not what she told you on the internet, though.
And surprisingly, the guy's semi-honest. I mean, it's still a lie, but he's not saying, oh, she was definitely 18 or 19, like these other dudes who try to leave it right at that line of legality. No, he was like, I'm pretty sure they said 14, and unfortunately, that was not true. The decoy was even younger, which is absolutely shocking and vile. So it's weird this dude is like halfway lying right now. I don't know where he's gonna take this, but let's keep it going.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, younger than 8.
Younger than you said.
That's when he tells us he's here to help her get ahead in school.
You need a study, you need a good education.
Oh, okay, I get it. This dude is really just a nice guy. See, he's in college himself. He's pretty smart. He's doing all these big equations, and he knows that you know, middle school math can just be so difficult. So he's over here to be a tutor. Yes, this guy hasn't really tutored anybody else and doesn't plan on tutoring anybody else, but he made one good exception here, because he realized this person he was talking to in the chat room is dumb as hell and needs to learn their multiplication tables. So he's here to help with just that. I'm gonna take this dude's word for it. I mean, I know he just lied and all, but I think he's an honest dude.
You came here to tell her that she should be studying.
Yes. Really?
Yeah. But you also seem to indicate in this chat that the education you wanted to give her was sex education.
You gotta believe him, Chris. I know you just stopped him from trying to, you know, swoop in and give the decoy a little kiss, but you don't understand the world of tutoring. That's how you introduce yourself, you know what I mean? You gotta be comfortable with the person you're teaching, or else how is the information gonna retain in their brain? Duh. Obvious sarcasm again. I gotta add that warning, guys, because some of you in the comments are really thinking that I'm actually thinking these things when I side with these creeps, but I'm trying to just reveal how stupid this argument is, or this idea is, that he's over here to be tutoring. And he doesn't even realize yet that Chris Hansen has the chat logs. I'm sure they're gonna get into that very shortly.
No.
No? Did you forget what you talked about? Only once that I could see in this transcript did you talk about the importance of education,
No,
and
I
virtually
did.
everything else.
Yeah, so Chris instantly goes to the chat logs and is like, dude, you didn't even talk about schooling or education at all. You went right into the business. Remember, you were asking about the condoms, whatever those are. And this dude made it very clear why he was speaking to this decoy. But it's hilarious to see him try to squirm and act like he was here for another reason that he just did not discuss at all with the person online. It's almost as if he expected the decoy to read his brain and to understand that he was speaking in code. You know, instead of flirting, he actually meant that he was trying to come over here to help her with math and social studies.
That's what
my
you said you
English
want
is
to
not
do.
good. You know, as now I speak with you, I'm Austrian people.
I'm sorry?
Oh, okay, so we got a new excuse here. Clearly the tutoring thing didn't work. What Chris doesn't understand is this guy's from another place. He doesn't really speak good English, so clearly he can't be expected to keep up with the way that we have conversations with each other over here in America. He thought that this was just how you introduce yourself as a tutor, like I said, and honestly, he didn't mean any of the potentially vile things that he was saying in this chat log. He instead just got some bad info from a friend who was teaching him English. It's just a big mix-up, Chris. I'm sure you understand.
I'm Austrian people.
I'm sorry?
I'm born in Austria.
In Austria.
Yeah, I'm not English is perfect.
But that's a pretty universal language right there.
And I like that saying from Chris. That is a very universal language right there that this guy was using in the chat logs. I mean, even if you don't know much English, I'm sure you would understand from reading these sentences this dude sent what he was talking about, all right? They're very common words, and talk like that is shared across all cultures. So yeah, that excuse does not work. Also, I don't think this dude said he's from Austria. I think he meant Assyria, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, he's really trying to leverage his whole foreign identity here and act like he doesn't know English and it was just a big mix-up. But thankfully, Chris Hansen is not buying that one bit.
Blank my blank and blank you. That's English. You know what that means?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
my mistake, but I don't like this
Your
video.
mistake.
Okay, it's his mistake, guys. Now he's apologized. He's done lying. He's just officially apologized. And as we all know, as soon as somebody says they're sorry, that makes up for it. So let's let this dude go, call off the cops and everything. We can just end the show right here. The guy feels sorry for his actions. And it's definitely not only because he got caught, right?
Kalantari tells me this is the first time he's had a chat with a girl, but I point out to him that according to justice, he had a charged chat less than 2 weeks earlier.
And he even tries to make the other super common excuse that this is only his first time, which is usually the next defense that these guys go for as soon as their initial lies don't work out. And, well, Chris had an answer for that as well. Apparently, according to the company that works with him on these stings, this dude was chatting with another decoy of theirs less than 2 weeks ago and just didn't decide to show up. This time he did decide to show up. So clearly, this dude is doing this all the time and needs to be taken off the streets.
Only just chatting.
Right, but see, here's the thing. What you said just a minute ago is not what you're saying now.
Dude, he's literally hitting the greatest hits of excuses right now. Now he's going with the Jeff Sokol classic of chat is chat, which means that, you know, clearly whatever he said can't be used in the court of law. Oh wait, no, that doesn't work because you are sat here in front of Chris Hansen and you showed up to this house and you actually got stopped from trying to kiss the decoy before you knew that there was any cameras or Chris Hansen was around at all. So yeah, he is literally like 0 for 10 on the lies so far. This dude, I know he has some broken English here and he doesn't quite understand our customs, but he's really got to work on his story and getting it straight.
Well, here's what you need to know.
Okay.
All right. I'm Chris Hansen.
This police?
I'm not police.
Oh my god, we got interrupted in the reveal by the most hilarious question. Is police? No, sadly, Chris Hansen is not with the police, but he is working alongside them, so you're gonna meet those shortly. But let's just finish up with this reveal and see him panic as these cameras come out and he realizes the full gravity of his situation that he's found himself in.
I'm with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on people who try to meet boys and girls online. So if there's anything else you'd like to tell us, feel free to walk out that door.
So yeah, this dude's got his hands in his pockets. He's kind of squirming around here and the police are on their way, mobilizing to get this dude. I just can't believe that he really just had a 2-minute conversation with Chris Hansen. Like, honestly, this was one of the shorter clips that I've reacted to, but he was packing that with so many lies back to back. At least I'll give it to him. The Tutor angle was one I have not heard before, so he brought that to the table in terms of originality here, but the rest of this was straight up plagiarized, all right? I think this dude was a massive fan of the show and just was trying all the tactics he'd seen before.
At the processing center, Kalantari is distraught. Later, Kalantari pleaded guilty.
So clearly this dude's distraught, as Chris Hansen said, and actually, wouldn't you know it, he did have some balloons in his pocket, so that's another lie to chalk up on the lie counter here. This dude was full of lies today, and I want to know what you thought of this TCAP reaction down in the comments below. This was quite insane, man. I'm really shocked that he was able to pack in so much gold for us in just a few minutes. So, as always, shout out to my Patreon supporters, and shout out to all of you that make it to the very end of the video. If you did, you know what to comment. Grim Squad for life. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, peace out.